Okay, good morning. I'm Francisco Piqueiro. I'm a professor of hydraulics and water resources at the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Porto. And all my work in hydraulics is mainly on water supply systems, water drainage system, and especially on hydrology and mini hydroelectric power plants. We consider here micro hydro systems, the hydroelectric installations of power roughly under 5 kilowatts, 10 kilowatts. They consist namely on the idea of giving another use to a certain hydraulic circuit, like an old mill that nowadays has no use because we have no economical value for the traditional use of mills. And one of the options is trying to make the conversion of these hydraulic systems and installing a micro turbine and using it ideally, like in this specific case, with the interconnection with other sources of energy like solar or even wind. The benefits of using a hybrid system is the idea, more than the specific idea of the power. We really need to look for energy. And one thing is power, and the other thing is energy. And what we want to use in our homes and our systems is having the power whenever we need it. And as such, the most interesting part is being able to harness the energy and store it, probably in the battery, but we can go even further. And storing it is with water, if we can pump to a upper reservoir and then using again in hydroelectric microgeneration, using the same water that we have harnessed before. The main challenge are other than the economics, because as you're going to see in my presentation, the value of the power that we'll be able to install is very, very small. For instance, if you have a 20 liters per second flow and a 10 meters height, the power is roughly 1 kilowatt, only 1 kilowatt. So the idea, you must look at this micro generation if you add other components of value, namely the rehabilitation of the heritage by the rehabilitation of old hydraulic systems, the old mills, and connecting it with the society. If you get a new use for the old mills, you have other values added to the system. For instance, you give value to the riverbanks. So the general public, the general society, will look for the river with a different eyes, will want to keep it safe, want to keep it clean. And so there are other values in order of socio-economic values, environmental values, and also as social value of this installation. The main success of a hybrid system is, as I have mentioned, the possibility of using the power whenever we need it. So is the idea of harvesting the energy and using it. The other situation is that as long as we're going to install decentralized production, and as such, we can increase the amount of electrical energy that we're going to use in our lives, going for the idea of decarbonization, but not needing to do a whole refurbishing of the electrical network, because power will be produced and used locally. So we'll not be putting a charge on the existing network that in the future will lead to the need to the substitution of all of the network. The main problem, or one of the main problems, is the legal framework. Till a few years ago, our governments and generally the society looked at this micro installation in the same way they are looking for big hydroelectric systems. So if you impose all of the limitations, all of the legal framework for environmental studies, for feasibility studies, social studies, this will not be feasible. That's why I think that the refurbish and rehabilitation of old hydro systems like old mills without changing any of the actual use of the water will impact a lower definition of the environmental studies, because we are not using the water on a different way that it has been used for the last decades or the last centuries.